Aconcagua stands a full kilometre above its neighbours and creates a weather pattern all of its own. At 6,962 metres, it is the highest peak in South America, as well as the highest outside the Himalaya. As one of the 7 summits, it is a popular mountaineering challenge, and although the normal route is non-technical, the extreme altitude and severe weather conditions lead to only a 30% success rate.
I've just done my first paper wrapped poo at 5,000 meters, and I felt like I've conquered Everest. I feel you've got to walk from your tent. It's probably about 5 meters, but it kills you. Then you've got to lay out this paper and put rocks on the edge so that it doesn't go away. Then you have to put down your toilet paper and wet wipes, and then the paper blows, and then you've got to get it all right again. Then you've got to stand up and pull down your pants, and then you see that there's someone watching you. And it exhausts you. And then what can you do after that? You're hungry. You need to eat, and the whole cycle starts again. And that's all I've got to say for today.
Leaving from Mendoza City, it's about 3 hours through the Andes to Puente del Inca, where we'll spend the first night at 2,700 meters. It's also where we'll meet up with the muleteers and pack our gear for the mules. These really make the walk up to base camp a whole lot more pleasant.
Okay, we arrived in Plaza de Inca about an hour and a half ago. We packed our bags, prepared for tomorrow, and now we've gone for a little bit of a short walk. And this is our first view of Aconcagua. Very, very impressive. It's very daunting. I think we're all feeling a little bit sober when we see how high it is and how cold it is up there.
Just arrived at the gate of the Aconcagua Park. We're going to go and sign in with the rangers, show them our permits. When the other group arrives, the other half, we'll head off towards the mountain. The first day is a gentle introduction to the Horcones Valley. It's only 3 to 4 hours along an easy trail, gaining 600 meters to the first camp at 3,300. With good weather and a great lunch along the way, everyone was feeling very positive. Just coming up to Camp Confluencia, last few hundred meters to go. It's been a good day's walk, easy, no problems. Day 2 on the trail is set aside for acclimatization. This is one of the most important aspects in preparing for the summit, as it lets your body adjust to the reduced air pressure and oxygen levels at high altitude. Sean briefed the group over supper.
You're going to go to 4,000 meters. Pretty much what you need to bring with you is what you had today, but I would also bring a fleece and a beanie, some gloves, and a windproof jacket.
some reason when you're in Africa in what 35 degrees and you're packing your pack, you can't imagine what it's like when it's like -5 and we're not even at base camp yet.
Probably at about 3,800 meters now. It's taken us of the order of 2.5 to 3 hours to get to where we are now. Clueless as to how long it will take us to get to the final point. But from where we're standing now, we have a beautiful view of the mountain. Bit of cloudy weather coming in. Hopefully the cloudy weather will burn itself out by the time we get up there so that we have a clear summit. But it's looking very, very nice. Beautiful day.
Cold, miserable, -1,
Warm and cozy.
windy, nose is dripping, having a lovely time.
Having reached 4,000 meters, it was time to turn around and head back to camp. Despite the fact that Rob was wearing shorts, it was cold and windy, and everyone was very glad to head on down. We're heading out from Confluencia at about 9:15, 9:20. Heading for base camp, probably going to be an 8 to 9 hour walk.
It's chilly this morning, I'm sure it's about freezing, maybe a little bit below with the wind. I've got a little bit cold standing at camp, waiting to go. Already I'm starting to feel a bit better and brighter. I'm eating well, drinking lots, and so far so good.
Day 3 is not for the faint-hearted. Covering 18 kilometers and ascending 1,000 meters to base camp, it is a punishing walk that can be made quite miserable by adverse weather conditions. On the day we experienced headwinds of up to 70 kilometers per hour, and with the dust, it made for tough going. Despite this, the Horcones Valley provides some spectacular views, provided of course that it is clear enough to enjoy them. The lunch stop provided a brief respite. Sheltering behind the rock at Ibanez campsite, we enjoyed our sandwiches before setting out on the climb proper. By the time we began to ascend the steeper section about an hour from base camp, everyone had had quite enough. It had been a long day, but the end was in sight.
Much longer than I imagined, and I'm glad I didn't know how long it was because
Yeah, it was a long day. I think that wind took it out of us.
Do one of these on that heartbreak hill. My tongue starts to stick to this, was flapping and sticking to the side of my freaking chin. So what's going on here? Horrific.
On our rest day, our condition was assessed by the park medical staff. While chatting to the doctors, we learned perhaps a bit more than we thought we should know.
We had the two guys that we thought were dead.
yes.
They tried to climb the top, and then the group separated. And the two of them went down, two continued to the top. But when they were leaving to the top, the wind took their sunglasses. And one got snowblind, and the Gore-Tex flew away.
Yes.
And that was the one who got frostbite also. So he got frostbite on both feet up until DGT. And on the same day, then we had a cerebral edema on neither of the condors, and he was in very bad shape. He totally changed personality. He could not. Everything was slow. They had to carry him down. They carried him all the way down.
Very bad.
Very bad.
Okay, so just those two incidences here, so.
No, and then on the same day, we had his pulmonary edema here in Plaza de Mulas. And a guy that he went up to Plaza Canada once, went down, he's a medical emergency himself, and we picked him up with 40% oxygen, put him in the chamber for 1.5 hours, and then threw him down.
Crampons and ice axes we generally going to use on summit day from, it's usually you get an icy slope from Independencia, which is at about 6,500 meters, okay? So you want to walk like a cowboy, be aware that you don't want to end up hooking yourself or stabbing yourself with these things.
Or your neighbor.
And this pick always points backwards. So when you swap hands, it'll always point backwards. The reason it points backwards is, which we're going to practice up there on those slopes, is for self-arrest. Okay, so we'll practice self-arrest. Because when you go into self-arrest position, what happens is if you fall or stumble or something like that, it'll go down. This comes across your chest and you're going into the snow like this, alright, if you're sliding that way.